Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to the Youth Talk Show. Courtesy of PCEA Unity Youth, where we share real stories from real people with the aim to educate and learn from others' experiences with your lovely host, EP.
Hi guys, welcome to today's podcast. I am your lovely host Eve Kimoro. Today we are going to talk about mental health awareness. Approximately 6 million people in Kenya suffer from mental illnesses. Among the 6 million people, 1.9 people suffer from depression, making Kenya to rank the 6th in African country with the highest depression rate. Today, I am joined by a lovely guest who is going to share with us about mental health awareness. Yes, and let me welcome her. Hi.
Hi.
Tell us your name and introduce yourself.
Okay, so my name is Wangare Mburu. Popularly known as Gare by most people. So I'm a psychologist by training, and I'm also born again. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Welcome. So today we're going to talk about mental health awareness, which is something that people are afraid to talk about on a daily basis, and it has really affected a lot of people.
Yeah.
You have seen in the news, and even among the celebrities, you're hearing people are dying due to these mental illnesses. So what can you tell us about mental health? What is mental health?
Well, basically, mental health is the absence or presence of a mental illness. So it has to do with, your psychological well-being as a person. So yeah, I think it just falls into either you have mental illness or you don't have mental illness. Either you are unhealthy or you are unhealthy. So basically, in our layman's language, I think that is the best definition for
mental health.
Yeah.
So tumeongea kuhusu mental health. So what is mental illness?
Okay, mental illness ni illness ya kichwa. In other words, it has to do with the abnormality, the poor functioning of the brain, of the mind. So basically it expresses itself through your feelings, because you are a whole package. So through your feelings, through your behavior, through your thoughts. Yeah, so psychological, mental illness has to do with everything psychological that is not normal, that is not functioning as it ought to. So how it expresses itself is in your behavior, is in how you're thinking. You begin to have weird, out of the norm thoughts. You begin to see a change in your emotions. So that's when we can, and of course through an assessment with a professional, then we can be able to say really someone is mentally ill. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So what are the types of mental illnesses?
Types.
Yeah.
What ni mingi sana.
Can just share a few.
Let me just share a few the common ones. The common ones, of course, is the famous depression.
Famous.
So it falls under the category of a mood disorder. So there is also bipolar, there is schizophrenia, there's what else? There's eating disorders, there are anxiety disorders, phobias of various kinds. There's also trauma-related disorders like PTSD, the kind that soldiers have after they come from war. So there's also postpartum depression, which affects mothers, new mothers who've just had their babies. So yeah, I think those are the most common ones. There's also sexual disorders, but that's it falls. It's not this. It's a disorder that can affect how someone thinks, and eventually expresses itself in their behavior, in their sexual behavior. Yeah.
So let's narrow down to depression, anxiety, and stress, because these are the things that are really affecting us, especially during this period.
Yeah.
So what causes these mental illnesses?
What causes these mental illnesses? I think it's a combination of a lot of things. There's no one cut cause
Yeah.
to mental illnesses. Some have they're more inclined to biological factors. So there are people who have sort of physical issues that trigger mental illness. There's also the genetic factors. So if someone in your family has a history of mental health, say someone in your family had schizophrenia or has schizophrenia, then you're more likely predisposed to it than someone who doesn't. So there's also environmental factors, psychosocial factors. So this has to do with relationships, your work environment, your home environment, your school environment. If say you're in a space where you're being bullied or harassed, you can be easily predisposed to a mental illness, because it becomes more of a trigger. So yeah, I think those are the major causes. You can have a combination. So you can have, say you're predisposed to depression because maybe someone in your family has it. Then you go through a breakup. So you see it can be triggered, but initially that was just a trigger. You were predisposed to it. So yeah, I think you can have a combination.
Okay. So let me narrow down again to uh, a level where maybe most of us can relate. For example, during this period of Corona,
Yeah.
I don't have food and I don't know where to get the next meal. So can that cause me to have mental illness?
It can trigger. I think what we need to understand is for you to be diagnosed as having a certain mental illness. One, there's duration. So you can't be sad for one day and say I had depression. You get, so there's duration. There's also what else? There's other factors, the symptoms that can qualify whatever you're feeling or thinking or in the way you're behaving as you having a mental illness. But yes, it can be a trigger. Again, that using that example, it's an example of an environmental, a psychoeconomic issue. You don't have money, so you're stressed. So you feel like, I think I need to take my life because my family, I can't take care of my family, etc. So it's just kind of progressive from just one thing that triggers another, then eventually it can be a full-blown mental illness. Yeah.
Okay, most of these mental illnesses are not visible. You cannot say that Kare has depression,
Yes.
anxiety, or any other type of mental illness. How can I know that a person is suffering from a certain mental illness?
How can you know? It's a very good question. Why? Because one, it's very subjective. Why? Because it has to do with a lot of feelings and emotions. I can't look at you and think, she's feeling jealous of me. I cannot. It's very subjective. So unless someone really expresses themselves, we can suspect, but we cannot really know for sure because it's not. See, fever to you will. Utasikia mtu akona joto and you go like, I think they have fever. So how can you know? I think first, it falls in 3 categories: their feeling, their behavior, their thoughts. So how someone is feeling. So for example, someone keeps saying, Aki, I'm so angry at so and so, I feel so sad, I feel so bored. Them expressing themselves verbally, they're expressing their feelings verbally. So you can hear a lot of discouragement, a lot of sadness, a lot of hopelessness, a lot of fear, a lot of anger. Also, you can see it in their behavior. Say someone was not drinking, then suddenly they've started drinking. So that becomes a telltale sign that something could be wrong. Another example is probably someone is going through a lot of behavior change. Say someone was very social, then suddenly they don't want to hang out with people, they are withdrawal. Then that becomes a telltale sign. So someone probably cries a lot. seems ushaongea na mtu unaona ni kama Eve anashika kitu nasema, like they are not hayuko haji-express. It's almost like they've zoned out. Then that again becomes a telltale signs. Alcohol abuse, promiscuity, mtu ameanza tabia mbaya, so someone wasn't stealing na sahi anaiba, or someone wasn't very sexually active but ameanza kubehave hivyo. So yeah, if you notice someone anakulenga, someone is your friend, they don't want to hang out with you sana, that becomes it also expresses itself in their work. You know, you go to your friend's house, nguo hajaosha mwezi moja, nyumba inakaa chafu, you know, they just look a mess, they haven't taken a bath, then that becomes a telltale sign. So it's just all this behavioral, ukiongea na mtu usikia anasema saa zingine mimi usikia kaa anaweza jiua, vitu kaa hizo, ama someone has broken up and they're like dem akosa kunirudia nitajiua, you know, such things. You need to be very attentive to what people are saying and how people are behaving for you to actually know someone is unwell. But a lot of us are too busy focusing on ourselves to even notice. Squeezy, if we haven't talked for 1 month, tuko like kila mtu na maisha yake. You know, I'm cutting people off. Kama uniongeleshi na kuweka kando, si ndio? But sometimes it's not even about you. Sometimes I'm not okay. But if you can be concerned, nani Eva amenyamaza, what's up? You can actually know, unamtext unaona hata yuko idhaa yangu ajisikii kuniongelesha, then it becomes maybe something is wrong, let me check up on her. Unaenda kwake unapata mtu atajoga siku 3, she's a mess, then you're like nini mbaya wewe, kwani mbona uko mvivu hivyo? Mtu anapewa kazi, maybe school work ama job, hafanyi. Boss anakasirika and you're like huyu mtu hafanyi kazi, ni mvivu, mnamvuta. Like there are all those things that if we are really concerned about someone, we will see, if you are not focused on ourselves. So yeah.
You have touched about how you can help such a person, like communication. How else can I help a person with mental illness? Because you have said that you have talked about duration. For example, if depression, it must have imekuwa kitu consistent, so that ndo ikue diagnosed ikue depression.
Yes.
So before nisikie rafiki yangu ameenda rehabilitation,
ama amejiua
ama amejiua ama amefanya something, how can I help that person?
How can you help that person? I think being there. I think in a world that people wamezoea kucut off people, not just squeezy kama tuongeleshani hatusaidiani, so I cut you off. I think being there, being really there for your friends, in the sense that if you're my friend, I'm not just in the friendship because of my own personal gains. I'm there because of you. So if I keep close, nita notice when something is not right. Of course, that creates an environment where you can express yourself. If something is not right, unaweza kama uniambie chali yangu ameniacha nini ama demi yangu, this is what is happening in my family. You can express yourself. Why? Because there is a safe haven. Just you as a person, making sure that your friends and your family members are not alone. Social support. Are you that social support for your friends? Say for example, your family member just had a baby. Are you there for them? See ati kushikashika mtoto to help them get through that period. If someone has lost their job, if someone is going through a breakup, are you there for them? Ama wewe ni zile za unajua tu ataachana and life goes on. Unajua you're not really concerned anaendeleaje. Yeah, I think, and also you as a person being open to people, because I feel like there's a lot of individualism in the sense that ni mimi na God, so we don't have that communal support. You know, we don't have friends and family members wenye wanajua nini endelea kwa maisha yetu, na wanaweza tusaidia aje. Pia sisi sometimes we keep people away from us, so just check up on your friends, and funny thing, you don't even have to say anything. I think sisi tunadhaningi, say someone has gone through a loss, maybe a lose family member, we think, I see it a lot on Facebook, someone has lost a family member, uko hapo it is well, God's will for your life, nini, but it's just empty talk. Sometimes imagine you don't have to say something. Sometimes you just need to be there and let them express whatever they're expressing.
Wow.
Without feeling like you need to fix it, unajua. Because I feel like a lot of people who go through psychological and emotional instability, really they don't need someone to tell them the right things. They know.
Yeah,
they
true.
know. If you tell them God is on your side, I know
In control.
he's in control. We tell people, imagine they're aware, they're like, psh, I know Isovitu, I know the scriptures from A to Z. I don't necessarily need that. I just need a friend, someone to be there with me. And you'll be surprised at how powerful it is. Like in counseling, you realize sometimes someone anakujanga tu, anaongea ama anaanza kulia. Analia 1 hour. Analia, anajaribu kuongea na kataa. Alafu anakwambia, finally anafanya, I think now I can go home. They just needed to get it off their chest.
Wow.
Sometimes you mess it up when you try to tell someone, no, you know, that is a small issue. You know, hiyo ni kitu kidogo inakukasirisha ama inakuumiza. You shouldn't be, ufai kuwa unaumizwa na vitu ndogo za life. No, that's an issue for me. And I think understanding, you know, growing in empathy, ile sense ya, you put yourself in my shoes. Hiyo kitu by the way unaweza kuwa uelewi why I'm fussing about it. You may not understand what's the issue, what's the big issue about such a thing. For example, we were talking earlier and tukua tuwape an example here. Someone can complain, chali yake a reply text. Sindio? Na wewe uko hapo ukimwambia, hiyo tu, unajua chali yako ananifanyanga nini wewe? Unajua mimi hata anaga shughuli na mimi nini? And you're like, text tu. Hizi utaanzana na ndoa, you know? And you're like, but that's an issue for me. That's an issue for me. And I think when you understand people in that regard, useme, I don't understand it. Me kwangu, this is pettiness, but it's an issue for you. And I'm here for you. It goes a long way.
Wow. Wow, I love that. Because, for example, mimi, like, when someone calls me or texts me aniambia hasikii vizuri or something, mi nakuanga zile za sasa nimwambie aje. Like, I'm always nikuwe na kitu ya kusema. So kama sina kitu ya kusema, ama when you are mko mahali pamoja na mtu, yani unafilingi wewe ndio uanze your conversation or something. And I love the fact that umesema you don't have to say anything. Your availability actually matters.
Your presence.
Yeah. So unajua tumeongelea sana kuhusu hao wengine. What about me as an individual? How do I know that I think naona ni kama vitu haziendi venye zinafaa, or I think there's something that is different in me, because I think story na depression na stress si ati leo umenikasirisha alafu nitakuwa stressed about it. It's a process. It's a process that sometimes I don't even realize nimefika to this extent. So how do I take care of my mental health so that najua I need help at this point?
Okay, so hapo kuna 2 questions. How do I know siko poa? And another thing, how do I maintain my mental health?
Yes.
So the first question, how do I know siko poa? I think it's the same criteria. Feeling, thoughts, actions. If you notice umeanza kukua easily irritable, when mse ukasirikangi, but siku hizi things just tip you off, unajua. If you notice you've been excessively sad, you wake up in the morning, you're sad, in the evening you're sad. If you notice anger, unajua, for example, you notice you know, there are 2 types of anger. Kuna ile ya rage, ile ya outburst, ile ya people throwing glasses, smashing doors, and kuna ile simmering. Kuna ile inachemkanga tu ndani, ile hata uwezi ambia mtu, so you know it. Kuna hiyo. So if you notice the presence of anger, if you notice you've gone back to bad behaviors ama bad habits that ulikuwa umeacha, like maybe ulikuwa na tabia kujunk sana. Okay. Wewe ni mtu, ulikuwa mtu machipo mapizza nini, alafu ukaacha hiyo life. Alafu suddenly sasa hiyo umeachwa. Ndio hiyo wewe umechukua ngiri ngapi? 3, umeenda pale KFC, umeitisha bucket umekaa hapo umesema acha nirarue leo nimeachwa, then that's a telltale sign. If you find yourself withdrawal, wewe siku hizi upendangi stories za watu kuna venye wanakubuingi tu wanakatianga. It could be a telltale sign if you notice you've been sexually promiscuous. Say for example you've gone back to, you started maybe watching explicit movies, ama umego into alcohol and drug abuse. It could be a telltale sign. Another thing, if you notice you're hyper, I think a lot of us don't see it. Sometimes unapata mtu ametulia, but this day akashindwa mtu ni nini mbaya na you know, like it's almost excessive hyperness. Sometimes it's just you kwa tu ina cover the real thing yenye ina go on inside that person. So yeah, if you find yourself you're not enjoying the little things in life, probably you're not, ulikuwa mse unapendanga jokes, unapenda kucheka, but squeezy you're not having that hearty laughter, unajua ile furaha ulikuanga nayo. If you are unable to work, simple things kama kuamka ku clean your house, to do your chores has become, yani ni mzigo. You know, it becomes a telltale sign. If you find yourself not praying, not reading the word, unajua imeanza kudidimia, things that you actually enjoy doing. Maybe you enjoyed drawing or singing, or you know, you just have a hobby, an interest that ulikuwa unapenda kufanya, siku hizo uifanyagi sana. It could be a telltale sign. If you find yourself probably umeamka asubuhi, I remember this, I once, let me not say it was depression, but I think I was in great distress. And what made me realize I wasn't okay is that nikiamka asubuhi sikuwa nataka kudraw curtains. I am this person, mimi napenda jua. Yani hii July inanikatia. I just love September, you know, the sun ikiwa out. For me, I love nataka kuvaa nguo ziko na color, I want it to be bright. But I noticed nikiamka staki, one of the things I enjoy in the morning ni kudraw curtains, the sun ingie, light up room, na feel ni asubuhi, nimefurahi. But nilikuwa na realize itafika saa 7, saa 8, saa 10 sija draw curtains. Sisiki kutoka bed. Nalala sana. Another thing will be hypersomnia. Unalalanga sana siku hizi, ama unalala kidogo, ama unakula sana, ama unakula kidogo. It's almost, there's an extreme to it. Kitu ulikuwa unafanya unaifanya sana ama inadidimia. So I noticed something is not right. You know, hiyo kutaka kwa bed, kutaka in a dark room, I realize something is not right. So those are things, if you're not careful, if you're not self-aware, haujui venye Eva na kuanga. Unajua inaweza kuaffect. Wewe kama ni mtu wa asubuhi ama wewe ni mtu wa usiku, and you realize there's been a change, you just need to be very attentive to your feelings. How are you feeling? Sasa nikikuuliza how are you feeling, unafaa uniambie I am okay. Kuambia mtu I am not okay is not a feeling. Najua ama I am okay is not a feeling, that's a state. A feeling is I am happy, I am sad, I am angry, I am disappointed. Those are feelings. Number one, how are you feeling? What are you thinking? Are you having negative thoughts? Do you feel hopeless? Do you feel helpless? Do you feel like you're a failure? Unajua, do you feel like you're a disappointment to society? You're good for nothing, you know? Do you feel resentment maybe towards someone? What are you thinking? Ukifikiria someone mwenye amekosea, maybe someone you have an issue with, what are your thoughts? Are you thinking about them in kiki mtu kiko sijui aje? Unajua, all that negativity in your head. Do you have suicidal ideations? Have you umekuwa ukifikiria na nikikufa watu watanimiss kweli? You know, these are things people don't talk about. People don't say nikikufa watu watanimiss kweli. Hata isema, but people have thought about it.
True.
People have thought about it. So what are you thinking? And how are you behaving? If you can assess yourself in those 3 categories, you can know when you're not okay. And guess what? It's okay to accept I am not okay. I go for counseling myself. I go for counseling. Why? Because I think it does me good. It's not something I should be ashamed of. If I am counseling people, I need to go for counseling. So if you get to that point and you realize it's not okay, guess what? Hawa tunadhani ati people will see and think, kai, if nafanya na kwanga jovial, anaweza kuwa kona shida, kona ma-stress. So people don't care. If today you die, people will mourn you 1 week and go back to their lives, to their Instagram lives. So the people we really care about, watu watasema nini akijua mimi leader, ama mimi mtoto wa pastor, ama sijui mimi dem high class, you know. Niko in depression, ama mi celeb, maybe I'm going through something. What will they think of me? People don't care. They don't care about us as much as we think. They are really concerned. Not as alienda counseling, okay, and life goes on. So yeah, I think if you can look at your life in those 3 areas, utajijua, utajipata na utajiambia I am not okay.
So tukimalizia, so how do I maintain my mental health?
How do you maintain? The last question.
Yeah.
Niko nimesahau. How do you maintain self-care? Self-care, practice self-care. What is self-care? Self-care is doing things and engaging in behavior that do you good. So eating right, exercises, you know, keeping people close to you. Najua you're not an island. Sleeping enough, you know, engaging in things you enjoy doing. Ata in this quarantine period, just bake or take a walk or just do something you enjoy. Watch a nice movie, you know, a comic movie. Another thing, forgive.
Forgiveness.
Yeah, forgiveness is self-care. I think if we can really live in the present, if we can tuishi maisha ya sai, atujui about kesho. Tuna worry about kesho, what we will eat and drink, but the truth of the matter, I don't even know if you'll wake up.
True.
So just live now. Live now. Enjoy now. Be in the present. If you can hug someone tighter, if you can, you know, enjoy that meal. Useme, chakula ntamu. Uweke tu simu chini useme acha nikule. You know, those are the things that we need to do. We need to, if you can go for counseling, that's part of self-care. Pray. Read the word of God. That is part of self-care. A lot of things zinakuwa sorted when we pray.
True.
And when we read the word of God. It puts things into perspective. So yeah, I think those are the major things. Of course, just finding yourself in the midst of all this. Talking to people, engaging in kama ni groups, kama ni hapa church fellowship, sikwetu tutazita troops. Just those small things. Alafu kitu ingine, let's minimize social media. Oh my God. If you're not doing anything constructive, just talk. Kwa sababu a lot of people wanakuja feeling less about themselves in counseling because they're spending too much time on Instagram. The Kardashians. That's not our life. You will never be that woman. You will never be that man. You will probably never drive that car. What people show you what they want you to see.
True.
It's not from a place of jealousy, but it's the truth. Baba ushai post ile siku hujachana nywele sijui unakaaje. We rarely do it. Not because you're not confident, but because you're like ile siku unakaa poa ndio kwa like acha leo nipige selfie. Hata you don't do it out of malice ama sijui you're trying to show off. You just do it because you're feeling good about yourself. And it's the same thing for everyone. When they post, they are posting their best moments.
True.
Ile time umefanya, let me take a picture now, I'm feeling great. But wewe umekaa hapo, kwa tu hapa 3 hours. Do you think you'll feel good about yourself? Umeangalia life ya kila mse? You won't.
True.
You won't. So part of self-care is just all that.
Wow. I love the part that you've said that you need counseling. You know, I think tunaendanga hosi saa zile tuko wagonjwa. We don't go for...
Hata tunaendanga check-up.
Yeah. So going for counseling is very important, and I will consider that because I've never gone to one.
You should.
I've never gone to one. But thank you very much for coming. We have learned, and I pray that we may continue learning because that was just a snippet of whatever people are going through. And I pray that people may be available for their loved ones, for the people around them, so that we may avoid all this chaos that is happening in this life. I know you may not save everyone, because you're not Jesus.
You're not.
But you may save us all.
Yeah.
Yes. So before you leave, we will have some questions, personal questions that we will ask, and then utajibu tu.
Okay.
Yeah, within maybe 3 minutes or something. So you'll just select 3 of them.
Oh my God, about myself.
Not really about yourself,
Okay.
but ni questions too.
Okay, this is interesting. Greatest achievement in handling cases in your area, in my area of practice.
Yes, yes.
I think is when a man called me na akasema he's so angry at his wife. The wife is disrespectful na naenda kumuua that evening.
Wow.
Hata aliambia venye ataifanya. It was very I thought suicide and homicide ziko uko kwa news until someone called me. I think that was it was my greatest achievement to realize. Of course he cried and he was emotional, but at the end of the call alikuwa amechange his mind, and of course other cases are people who want to commit suicide. I think those are to save a life, I think those are my greatest achievements.
Wow, amazing.
Okay, ingine niko nimesahau guy.
Umekumbuka hiyo story?
What makes you feel inspired or like your best self? Kai, nani aliniambia nichukue hii? Ati what makes me feel inspired or like my best self? I think what inspires me is God. Just seeing life ya Christ and his concern for people. People have cried at his feet. People have been broken at his feet, and I think that is what inspires me. What I like about my best self is the opportunity, the ability to sympathize and empathize and help someone.
Wow.
That compassion, I think, is what I like about myself.
The last one.
Okay.
Kwani umeshikana?
Tell me about a patient that touched your heart. Kai, nimekuwa na wengi hata that touched my heart. I think ni mmoja mwenye aliniambia kama singeongea na yeye ange take her life.
Wow.
I think that one touched my heart. Like she's never called again, but hata sahi tukiongea na yeye she broke from an abusive relationship, and number 2 she aliacha kufikiri about taking her own life, and just kumsikia akisema if haungeniongelesha hata niko na madawa nilibai juzi, I think last week, na nimebai zingine leo, I was going to take my life, but I said let me talk to someone. I think that was the one person that touched my heart.
Wow. You have a lot of stories to tell, and since time is not on our side, how can someone reach you?
Mimi, you can reach me on my number. I can give my number.
Yes, you can give your number.
So on my number 0710 98 0710 98 5953. Or you can send me an email at karemburu KAREY mburu 91 @gmail.com. Or you can find me on my social media, on Facebook and Twitter. You can DM me if you need my services. Our offices where I work, I work at Niskize Counseling Center. Our offices are in Upper Hill. So in case you need face-to-face therapy, we are open. You can always call. We also offer telecounseling, online counseling. That's telephone and Zoom, and face-to-face. So you can just it's an investment. People think counseling unaenda tu kuongelesha mtu, mashida zako na story imeisha, but it's not that. It's more than that. And if you can invest in that, I kid you not, your life will never be the same again.
I think one of the reasons why people don't go for counseling is that they perceive it as expensive.
Yes, but sahi ukienda kwa gynecologist, ama uende kwa cardiologist, kwa consultant, utalipishwa much? So utalipishwa ngiri 3 at the very least. but we want to invest. Sindio utasema, this is my health, this is my heart. It's the same thing. This is your head, this is your mind. It's the only tool you have. If this dies, if you die in your mind, then you're in trouble. So if you can invest in that. I go for counseling myself and I pay as a client. I don't have the money, but I look for it. Sindio? Because why? I need this service. Because I need to be whole, psychologically, emotionally, physically. So yeah.
Wow.
But kuna free counseling. I think people can always, in case you think you feel like you need to take your life, you don't need to. You can always call. Just Google on is a free counseling, free toll, free numbers, and you will find someone who will assist you.
Wow. Guys, I hope mmesikia. You can reach out if you need any help. So I think we have come to the end of our podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to our official pages, that is IG and YouTube. And I pray that you may have a lovely week and may God bless you.